when I really looked at it, there were 4 major things that I did that are different today than how I would have approached something like this in the past. And I want to go over those with you so that way you have insight into your own life, your own behaviors, how you use food to cope and feel better. And you can therefore take these things and absolutely apply them and change your behaviors around using food and how you feel about stress. Or, good news, I'm opening up my mentorship program so I can help guide you through some of these major things. So if you don't know me, I am Dana Lee. I'm the founder of RealFit.tv, and I'm the creator of the Real Fit Mindset course. And more importantly, I help women in a mentorship program basically take them from feeling obsessed about food and stressed out and hating on themselves into freedom. So I'm an expert in this. And more recently, I've really been put to the test about this. Is it possible to feel stressed and not stress eat? So recently I lost a major contract. So some of you know that, yes, part of what I do is I run and manage RealFit.tv, and like I just said, and then the other part of my career is I'm a corporate wellness coach, and I've held 2 major contracts for about 6 or 7 years now, and one of the contracts ended. And this was a major contract for me, not just financially, but also that these are people, my clients, that I have gotten to know so well at such a deeper level, seeing them 2 times a week for the past 6 years and more, because we would do outside corporate events and things like that. So we all got notified that the entire program was getting the plug. It was just getting pulled. It was cut. So this was incredibly heartbreaking for me on many levels. So I spent the last few weeks navigating this stressful situation, right? So what I want to share with you guys today is, now in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, I really have come far because I was through this very challenging time and I didn't look to food to cope. And when I really looked at it, there were 4 major things that I did that are different today than how I would have approached something like this in the past. And I want to go over those with you so that way you have insight into your own life, your own behaviors, how you use food to cope and feel better. And you can therefore take these things and absolutely apply them and change your behaviors around using food and how you feel about stress. Or, good news, I'm opening up my mentorship program so I can help guide you through some of these major things. These are foundations. These are things that I live by and I have put together in a certain sequence in my mentorship program to help women who are sick of trying to figure this shit out on their own. Okay, so stay tuned. I'll give you more details about that at the end, towards the end of the video. So, okay, 4 things. So I'm going to go over the 4 things, and then I'm going to go back and kind of go into the 4 things in greater detail, just so you have an idea of where we're going. All right, so the first thing is I created, now this is something I worked on a little while ago, but I created a picture of what my normal would look like. Like, I got clear on what that would be. And I asked myself some specific questions to actually get into the mindset and the vision of, like, what does my life even look like, right? So that's the first thing. I knew what my normal would look like, okay? My normal is without stress eating, right? So number 2 is I got up the courage to start speaking my truth. So I learned that part of my emotional and stress eating had to do with literally stuffing my mouth because I was stuffing down the ability for me to speak out and express myself. So there was a very strong correlation between those 2 things. So number 2 was I spoke my truth. Number 3 was I adopted an entirely different way of thinking about food. I broke free as a fitness professional and a nutrition coach in my industry, I broke free of the mainstream teaching around diet, and I adopted a brand new way of looking at food, and I call it my food is food lifestyle. I leveled the playing field where there was no good food and no bad food. I was not a good person or a bad person for choosing the food that I ate. So I wouldn't judge myself and be so hard on myself, which just perpetuates the stress eating cycle. So I adopted the food is food lifestyle. And number 4, the final one, and this one is definitely a writer downer. This is expect nothing and appreciate everything. So setting up expectations and looking forward to something that might or might not happen is a way to set myself up for failure. So instead, I really started living a life of gratitude. Gratitude for what is. Look at all the good and the awesomeness that is my life right now. And instead of focusing on all the shitty and I don't want this and the negative that, instead I redirected and started really appreciating what was in my life. Okay, so let's circle back around and let's go into each of those 4 in greater detail. And again, feel free to take notes, feel free to type in the video if you feel like you want your own reinforcement. That would be beneficial not only for yourself, but also to our other viewers. Okay, so let's go back to number 1. I created a picture of what my new normal would look like. And here are the questions that I asked myself. They're not easy questions. And I was blocked about seeing my future for a very long time. And I did the work anyway. So my questions were, who are you without food issues? Who are you without food issues? I had to really get into that headspace and the vision. What would my life look like? My life was so obsessed and revolved around food and tracking food and calories and, eating every couple hours and buying into all the diet dogma bullshit that only created more obsession in my life and created more stress about the eating. So in a stressful situation, I would just perpetuate the stress because I was stressed out about food and feeling bad about myself. So how do you get out of it? Well, you got to start by even being able to picture your life without the problem. Okay, so you got to answer the question, who am I without food issues? What does my life look like? Okay, you got to get clear on that. And I'm not saying that it's easy work. That is exactly why I said stay tuned if you feel like you can't do this work by yourself. Because I can help you through it, and so can other women who've been through my mentorship program and would be happy to help guide you. So you're not in it alone. So being able to answer that, what does my life even look like? But really understand that, do you see how it's difficult to come out of it if you don't have the picture of where you want to go? Right? You want to begin with the end in mind. So instead of getting wrapped up in, I'm so stressed and I'm stress eating and that's my problem and I just need food tactics to fix my stress eating. Whoa. Let's take a major step back, like a few steps back, and look at a bigger picture that is your life. And what would your life look like without that problem? Like so freeing, right? Like so incredibly freeing. And I'm telling you right now, because I'm on the other side of it, it is freeing. It's a fucking awesome way to live. Like I don't think about food. Like I'm going hiking today and I'm throwing a few snacks in my backpack, but I'm not like, oh my God, where are we going to stop and eat? Am I going to have enough to eat? La, 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 la. None of that anymore. I'm like, maybe I'll be hungry, maybe I won't. And it is so much easier to live that way. Okay, so that's your number 1, answering a couple of tough questions for yourself, but you want to begin with the end in mind so you can even be able to picture yourself without the eating issues, without experiencing the stress. So, all right, let's go into number 2. I spoke my truth. Okay, you guys, this one was probably the scariest one of them all. And it took me many years. So I spoke my truth was one of the most difficult things that I had to work on. It's not like I woke up one day and I was like, bam, I'm just going to speak my truth and plow over everyone. And then it's going to free me of my food problems. No, So the truth is, it is a work in progress, and that you've got to be willing to suck at it. You have to be willing to be like, I'm not going to know what to say. I don't know if I can articulate my feelings in the right way. And you still have to be able to do that, because I'm telling you, there is such a strong correlation between you hiding the truth of who you are and your food dilemmas. There is a really strong correlation between those two things. So can you see how just following the next diet or the keto plan or intermittent fasting or whatever the fuck is out there just distracting you, that's not helping you speak your truth about who you are, what you believe, and what you really want in your life. So this is kind of circling back to number one, in that in order for you to speak your truth, you have to know what you really want in your life. Like, what is your normal? What is the thing that I really identify with, and what do I want in my life? So when you're able to get clear on that, then the work begins where it's time to articulate it. It's time to, and this is without plowing down other people. It's not about getting defensive or making anyone else feel bad. It's about learning communication skills. Like, honestly, that's really what it's about, is how can you better express yourself in a way that is effective, and you can let go of how other people are going to feel or how they're going to respond. And it's not your responsibility. What is your responsibility is how you speak your truth and what is in your belief system, your morals, your values. When I started doing this, it was like a lot of my food issues sort of like dissolved, and I wasn't even aware. I say this to my clients all the time. We expect it to be like a big aha moment of all of a sudden we're going to wake up and we're not going to have any food issues or issues with relationship with our food. And that's not really how it works. How it works is it's a little bit over time, and a little bit of letting go, and a little bit more over time. And then one day, an event like I just shared, I lost a major contract. One day, something's going to happen, and you're going to look back like, oh shit, look at that. I didn't even use food for that. It's more of like a hindsight's 2020 or a retrospect kind of a thing. While you're in it, you're just navigating and living your life. So a lot of the things I'm sharing with you have become an autopilot thing. It's like a way of being. It's been a way of being for me. Okay. So it takes time. And I just want to encourage you to find compassion for yourself and sympathy for yourself. And just know that if you are stress eating and emotional eating, it's a way for you to take care of yourself. Like, it's the best thing you know right now to help yourself feel better. And if you just look at that, it's like a nurturing thing. If you're not, so I honestly commend you for that you're seeking a way to nurture and take care of yourself. Okay. So I just want to share that, because that's really, really important that we find compassion while we start to navigate some of this stuff. So I know that speaking your truth isn't necessarily an easy thing. So what I had to do over the last few weeks is I've had to have some really difficult conversations with quite a few people for all different reasons, just navigating a transition in my life. I was scared, and I had the conversations anyway. And what I will say is that was why I felt less of a need to seek food to feel better, because I was able to have an outlet for like, this is really the problem in my life. Let me deal directly with the problem instead of making food the problem and kind of like procrastinating and pushing off. And again, I'm saying this with incredible love and lots of compassion for you, for that's your coping mechanism right now. And I get that, because I did that for many, many years. So it's not to judge you for it. It's not to make you feel bad for it. It's just to shine light on it. So if we can shine some light on it, and in a space, and again, this is why I'm going to share more about my mentorship program, can you be in a space where you're not afraid to speak your truth? It's not going to be with a friend or a family member who may know you to be a certain way, and maybe you feel differently. So it's important to have a group of people where you can truly say what you need to say and get the practice work in. So then if you release it and then you share it with the people who really need to hear it, or you feel compelled to share it with those people, you're going to have more courage to do it. And therefore, the side effect is I don't need food as much to make me feel better. Something I want to know from you, all right, do you know deep down there's probably a conversation you need to have, or you need to be honest with yourself about a certain area of your life, and you're avoiding it? So I want to know, give me a thumbs up, give me a possibly, and if you're afraid to say, that's okay too. Now, number 3 is where I'm talking about my concept, food is food. Now, notice I didn't talk about this one first. Okay, just because we're talking about stress and stress eating doesn't mean that food and dialing in on your food tactics and manipulation and dieting, and let me just focus on that's actually going to change your view and your decisions around eating when you feel stressed. So I will say that this is a factor in it, but it was more of like, here's the other thing, you guys. The truth of the matter is this work in your personal development and getting through this and getting over this is not linear, you guys. There is this, like that's pretty much what the path looks like. Like sometimes you feel like, is this even working? I'm never gonna get over this. And then the next day you're gonna be like, oh man, I got this nailed. I had this aha, life is amazing. So okay, so food is food. So let me just touch base on this. It's very, I would say probably controversial in my industry because there is such a strong, like people have this way of eating and this is the right way. And there's all these diet camps, like the vegan community and the keto community and, you know, the paleo community. And there's right and wrong and good and bad. And here's on your good list of foods to eat and your bad list of foods to eat. We see it all the time. So I developed a whole nother different way. I was like, this isn't working for me. And I've tried it for 15, 20 years and it's not working. So if I'm trying and trying harder, eventually we got to try something different. And it was actually really scary for me to think about food as food. Like there's no good food, there's no bad food. What if all food was created equal? And in your mind, I know you're like, wait a second, but like, you know, ice cream is the same as eating a salad. Yeah, what if? What if that was the same? What if food lost its power? You're like, nope, there's no more power over me. I have power over my food because everyone's equal. Everyone is a level playing field, and how I make my decisions about what I eat and when I eat is based on 3 things: emotional, mental, and physical well-being in that moment. Okay, so this is why, to answer the question, is it possible to feel stressed without stress eating? The truth is, I change my view and perspective on the stressful situation. I'm going to get to that a little bit more in our 4th point. But if I work on changing that, then my emotional, mental, and physical health or well-being, health really, is at the forefront. And that's part of my decision-making when it comes to honoring my food choice and how much I eat of that food choice. That's been how I live my life and how I feel so free and why food is easy now. Because I really have gotten to the root that I am worthy. I deserve to take good care of myself, and I don't want to abuse myself or neglect myself or hurt, restrict, deprive. None of that is in my best good for the person I want to be in my life. The wife I want to be, the role model I want to be, the sister, the daughter, and now I'm a CASA, so I'm helping children in the foster care system. The role that I want to be, I have to make sure I take good care of myself. So it's important for me to not neglect, deprive, restrict, create harsh rules around how I take care of myself. So food is food. Food's not good, food's not bad. I'm not a good person for eating this way. I'm not a bad person for eating this way. I honor my mental, emotional, and physical health. That's how I navigate food. So healthy food for me is different than healthy food for you. And that is one of the most powerful things I can have you walk away from the mentorship program, should you decide to join me on this ride, and helping you make good decisions for you without worrying about other people making decisions for you, or other industries for that matter, right? I'm telling you, I've been in the industry for 25 years and I really don't want any part in the fitness industry. Yes, I'm a fitness leader, but I really feel like I broke away from the pack. I don't teach like most of the mainstream fitness people, gurus, if you will, out there. I have a completely different methodology of taking care of you and what's important for you. You got to figure that out for yourself. I'd rather empower than just give you a checklist and a grocery list. So that also creates a certain magnetism for certain women who follow me and follow what I have to say and the message. Like if that resonates for you and you're hearing that, or maybe you don't know me that well yet, then you're in the right place. So this brings us to number 4. And this is another mantra that changed my life, you guys. And it continues to change my life. And in fact, when I was recently on a 3-day Oprah cruise, the girls' getaway weekend with my one of my besties, Colleen, we had a poster on our door that said this. Okay, are you ready? Expect nothing and appreciate everything. So we had a poster on our door and so many people were walking past our hallway like, oh my God, that's so great. Yeah, so if we expect things to play out a certain way, like I expected this contract to do this, and that, which I didn't, by the way, but if we set expectations for certain things and then get let down or things don't go that a certain way, so that is a bit of perfectionism and control. And that is playing more into a victim role. So, and again, I say these things not to judge you because I'm coming from a place of sharing my own personal experiences. So what is within you is also within me. And I'm the first to tell you that. So there's no judgment. This is just to shine a light and to help understand where we're getting in our own way. So I'm running another round of the mentorship. So let's get to the goods here. The 4 things I just shared, you can absolutely do those on your own. You know what they are. And it's a matter of the practice of like write down those 4 things and keep them where you can see them to kind of circle back around. You can do it on your own. What I'm saying is me trying to do this on my own took me years. I developed a program to help women. Like if I could go back in time and like if I could imagine a coach or a trainer like myself to give me this information, that's how I designed the program. Of like, I put together modules and videos and exercises where you actually put a pen to paper and we get to answer some of these and explore these questions. We have fun with it. We inject some curiosity and some like inquisitiveness about who we are and our life and who we want to be. It's really fun work. It is personal development work, so it's not for everyone at every stage of their life. It is definitely for a specific person. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a link to the mentorship page and you can go to the program details. So it gives you the rundown and like it's 15 weeks, it's 12 modules, but I'm giving you a couple resting spots in between because like I said, I ran this program, now it'll be the 4th time with these amazing women. And I am creating the space and holding the space for you to do that for yourself. And if you wanted to also bring a friend or a family member to do the work with you, I would encourage that because we want to make sure it's someone that you really feel you could be yourself and be completely open and honest with. And that could deepen the work actually. Like I have a really good relationship with my sister. So a lot of this work did involve her. It involved the relationship I had having a sister, growing up in the same household, pitted against one another, for, how we looked and what we were good at, what we weren't. And it allowed me, because I have the relationship I do with my sister, that actually allowed for a much deeper and more profound transformation for both of us. Now, you may not have that relationship with your sister or your mother or your friend. So you can absolutely do this work on your own, but it's not really on your own. That's the point. I'm your mentor. I'm ready to hold the space as your mentor and guide you. And it's not to tell you what to do. It is a navigation of finding your connection to yourself. And it's not a do this, don't do that scenario. It's a let me explore this. Let me see what this is about. Wouldn't it be fun if? Let me just stay curious. And if you can do that for yourself, it is amazing what you'll uncover. And again, the side effect is relying less and less on food to help you feel better. And because you're starting to cultivate and create a life of your dreams that you really want to live. Now, I say that, and I don't want to scare you off by that. There are some people who are really nervous, or they're afraid to look at their dreams, or they maybe don't believe that they can live their dreams, so they shut down around it. And I would welcome you to still engage in this program if that is you, because again, we're only going to touch the surface of what you're ready to deal with. So if some of this work seems scary to you, rest assured that you're only going to see, and it's only going to be revealed, the layer that you're ready to deal with. Okay, so I think I've given you a lot to think about, and I also want to invite you in. Now, I'm working with 20 women this next round, so it is a limited number of people, but this is why, I guess you can see, I really want to stay in touch and make sure that there's accountability. So you can go to our page, and once again, I will just repost it just because, why not? So if you want the program details or you want to book a time with me, that is where you can go to find out. So we're going to have weekly Zoom calls where we see each other, like face to face, or you can also call in. You will have access to the replay, so even if you can't catch it live and there may be things you want to celebrate or ask questions, there will be plenty of space and time for you to do that and get what you need. So I'm keeping it really simple, super simple. All you need to do is show up and do the next thing. It is really that simple, okay? Don't overcomplicate it. But what I am saying is that this program is specifically for women who are looking to break patterns and do something completely different, looking at their lives in a different way and ready to do the work I don't want to say the work. Let's say ready to do the fun and exploring a deeper level of who you are. And I would be honored to be your mentor through the process. So, okay. So if you've got any questions for me, you can post them here. You can send me a private message. You can send me an email, dana@realfit.tv. So please, if you, again, don't feel comfortable online, take it offline or privately, and I will be happy to help you. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.